the Opupka Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for 5 and 5. We've got 5 topics, about a minute each. Let's get right to it, Barry. Let's start with this one. Next season, Marcus Smart will be playing for fill in the blank.
The Orlando Magic. I think Marcus will go pro. I think there's just too much pressure on guys that'll go that high to go ahead and declare. The Magic would like to draft point guard. Jameer Nelson has been a really good player, but he's could be past his prime. I think you'll see Marcus go very high, 1, 2, 3, somewhere like that. Magic maybe most likely.
I'd love to say Oklahoma State. I'd love to say he'll be playing for the Cowboys because he was so much fun to have and watch here this last year. But I just can't see him turning down top 5 draft money. I mean, it's a spot that you covet if you're a basketball player. You want to have that kind of security of money, of position, of those sorts of things. And all of the draft gurus and simulators are saying that he's definitely a top 5 pick. I just don't know how he can turn that down. And I don't think anybody can blame him if he says, I got to go. I think that's what happens. And it does sound like the Magic are hot on Marcus Smart's trail. All right, Barry, what about this? Who gets the most credit for the OU women's basketball team's Sweet 16 run?
I'm going to give it to Joanna McFarland. I mean, this is she plays UCLA in November, has 3 rebounds, 0 points. She plays the other night, has 21 points, 16 rebounds, 2017, whatever it was. She's turned herself into a phenomenal player. When you look at her, you don't think she's going to be a dominant player, but she gets a bunch of rebounds. She makes a lot of points. She shoots a lot of three-pointers. She's really fortified that OU lineup. Joanna McFarland, nearing the end of her career, has really transformed herself into a quality player. I'm going to give it to Joanna.
I think you also have to give some credit to Sherry Cole. I don't think there's any doubt about the influence that she's had on this team. And when you consider what all this team has been through, I mean, obviously the players have to buck up and have to play well in absence of all those players who got hurt early in the season. So a lot of credit goes to them. But clearly Sherry Cole figuring out a way to cobble together a team that has enough scores, enough rebounders, enough tenacity, just those sorts of things to draw that out of the players that she has available to her. Unbelievable coaching job by Sherry Cole. Lots of credit to go around when it comes to that Sooner team. All right, here's true false, Barry. What about this? Brittney Griner, who's going to be playing in the regional in Oklahoma City. Brittney Griner is the greatest women's player in college basketball history. True or false?
You know what? I was prepared to say true. I was prepared to help out with a big project declaring that, blah, blah, blah. But then I saw a gal play the other night that makes me think, hey, if she was on a bigger stage, if she's at Tennessee or Connecticut, we might be having a challenge, and that's the Elena Deladon from Delaware. Love the way she's 6'5", and she plays sort of like LeBron. I mean, she's driving, she's shooting, she's passing, she's rebounding. She does everything. Brittney Griner is probably the answer. I'm not even sure she's the greatest player playing today, though. I love the Delaware Blue Hens.
Well, too bad they're not in Oklahoma City, because then we could have a real showdown. I think it's probably true that Brittney Griner is the greatest women's basketball player in college basketball history. I think as much as anything, it's because of the transcendent nature of her game. We've never seen anybody play like her before. And Barry, you're right. I think that what Elena Deladon is doing is pretty remarkable. But to have somebody of Brittney Griner's size and toughness and just, she really gets after it. I mean, it's not just that she's big, it's that she plays as big as she is. I think a lot of times we've seen, centers in the women's game who aren't as assertive as we see Brittney Griner. And that's where I think she changes that greatness question into her favor. All right, our fun question of the week, Barry. Hey, what's your favorite NCAA tournament storyline going this year?
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue. It's hard to go against Florida Gulf Coast, for crying out loud. I mean, I fancy myself sort of a buff on U.S. geography and universities and that kind of thing. I can tell you just about where any school is. I'd never even heard of Florida Gulf Coast until about 2 years ago. This is a remarkable story. It didn't even exist until 1997. Put up as really they used trailer houses as the school. Been playing basketball about 11 years. Was eligible for the NCAA tournament only 2 years ago, and now they're taking out Georgetown and going to the Sweet 16. So it's hard to argue. And then if you like the local, the coach is Andy Enfield. He married a supermodel who hails from Mustang, Oklahoma, for crying out loud. So there's nothing to not like about this story. If Florida Gulf Coast wins the NCAA tournament, it's the greatest story of all time. I assume they won't, but they're going to give it a go.
But they keep winning, so what the heck? Yeah, I mean, I think I roll over that Florida Gulf Coast story into sort of the bigger storyline of anybody's tournament. I mean, you look around the tournament, and even the top seeds for the most part have had their struggles, and we thought this could be a tournament where we'd have some surprise teams where anything was possible. And lo and behold, you've got Wichita State playing LaSalle. You've got the Florida Gulf Coast story. I mean, you've got teams that are so unexpected to be Sweet 16 teams, and yet you could see them going to the Final Four, Barry. That's the thing. You can see Wichita State going to the Final Four. Florida Gulf Coast, it seems unlikely, but why the heck not? They beat Georgetown handily. I just think this has become the tournament we thought it was going to be, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. All right, lastly, what about this question about the Thunder, Barry? First round opponent for the Thunder. Who you picking in that one?
Well, it's looking to me like Houston. I mean, I think the Thunder could still get to number 1 seed. It's going to be difficult. I don't think the Thunder can fall to 3rd, so I think the Thunder's going to be 2nd. Houston looks locked in at 7, so we may be having a first rounder with the beard, James Harden reunion tour.
Yeah, and I would love that. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm on board with a James Harden versus the Thunder first round playoff matchup. I think that'd be great. I don't think the Thunder's getting to 1. I think there's no way that they unseat the Spurs. So I think you're looking at a 2-7 matchup. That likely takes the Lakers, the Jazz, some of those teams that are sort of fighting for that last playoff spot out of the equation. I think you're looking at Rockets. Sign me up, Barry. Should be great fun if
it was anywhere but Houston.
If the Rockets just weren't in Houston. Well, too bad. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.